Welcome. We're here on ground at the Leaders of Tomorrow's Springboard in the city of Bhopal, where we intend to talk shop with industry heavyweights for their take on how the state capital is leading Madhya Pradesh's industrial transformation. On the show tonight, we have Managing Partner of Startup Banking at IDFC FIRST Bank, Rohith Nair, and Founder and Director of Mentor Corporate Services, Amit Kumar Jain.
Bhopal, the capital city of Madhya Pradesh, combines tradition and modernity to provide an unrivaled ecosystem for businesses to thrive. The city boasts state-of-the-art manufacturing units, cutting-edge technology parks, a skilled workforce coupled with a supportive government that fuels the engines of growth.
It's an absolute pleasure to actually be collaborating with Times Now. At the outset, I'd like to thank all of you for having made it here, and I warmly welcome each one of you to this particular program. The entire lending ecosystem in the country today is 140 lakh crores. And I'm sure all of you would have been reading that in the newspaper. So there is a year-on-year growth of almost close around 17% on this number. So bulk of this is happening in the large corporate space. So out of this, 50 lakh crores happens in the personal lending space. When I'm talking about your personal lending space, it typically belongs to the home loans, the car loans, the credit cards, the personal loans, and all that stuff. And then we have different categories in the business side. So we have something which is a large corporate, ticket sizes over 50 crores. And that particular category has the highest amount of lending in that segment. It's at almost close around 70 lakh crores. And then we come to the medium enterprise group with ticket sizes of 10 to 50 crores. That particular segment has almost close around 8.7 lakh crores in that segment. And then we have the small enterprises, which contribute to a segment of 1 lakh to 10 lakh crores. And that particular segment has 9.7 lakh crores. And then comes the micro and very small enterprises, which is by far the largest contribution to the business community, of almost close around 60 million customers. But their contribution in the lending, our contribution to them in the lending is only close around 5.7 crores. So as we would see it, this is one particular community who's actually running the businesses with their own equity, with their own funds. But yes, as banks, we definitely want to come together and do something good for them, of course, with some strong initiatives backed by the government. I'd like to tell you how we came into existence. So this is an amalgamation of two institutions. One is IDFC. All of you would know IDFC. They were very large contributors in the infrastructure lending space. And we came along in the capital first as an institution, which was largely a diversified book and highly granular book. So I thought this was a good amalgamation, large corporates as well as the granular book, and it had a very formidable impact. You could see the numbers on board. So pre-merger, we had a CASA contribution. CASA essentially would mean the current account and the savings account on the overall book. We talk about 8.68%, close to around 9% when we started. But today, we're at almost close around 46.5%. That's the last figures that we published. And our wholesale and retail contribution to the businesses, initially when the pre-merger, it was 77% on the wholesale bank, and retail was only 23%. We kind of flipped that figures now. We are at 77% in retail, and we are 23% in the wholesale banking. Our net interest margins, very encouraging. We are currently sitting at almost close to 6.3% upwards, which is actually unheard of. So we as a bank are completely aligned with the government initiatives and the new age policies that they are putting into play. On that front, I take great pride in sharing with you that we are one of the banks which have been chosen for the early adoption of ONDC. And we're talking about ONDC going to be having prolific numbers like what UPI is doing today. Just some time from now, it's just a matter of few years. It's all for you to see. And CBDC, of course, backed by a very strong financial numbers of PAT, like I earlier mentioned to you, 765 crores. On the banking front, we try and make it as easy as possible for you. Certain aspects of that I will take you through as the slides move on. But yes, something that I would definitely want to mention, we have made banking very easy for you, and especially on the personal banking side, we have done away with all the possible charges you can imagine. We have some wonderful partnerships with people like NASSCOMs to ensure that We play an integral part in different aspects of business for different set of segments. We are one of the only banks who are giving you a monthly interest into your savings account. And of course, my colleagues are here. They can talk to you more about it as the day progresses. Certain other nuances that I have to talk to you about on the credit card. So we all know, I don't think there's hardly any person in this particular room who would not be using a credit card per se. So credit card, on the revolving aspect of it, the kind of interest that you pay to the bank is upwards of 30%. And 30% in today's time is quite a huge amount of interest. So even if you want to take a personal loan, which is supposed to be an unsecured loan, it comes today at 10.5 to 11% kind of an interest. But we thought we have to make a change in this one. And believe you me, the kind of interest rates that we go down to, we have a very dynamic interest rates that we can charge on your credit card, goes to as low as 9%. So we're talking about 30% up upwards on the revolving, depending on, of course, this also depends on the kind of CIBIL score that you're carrying. That's one aspect on the credit card. The second aspect on the credit card is the fact that I'm not too sure how many of you withdraw cash on a credit card per se. But very few people know the moment you withdraw cash on the credit card, the entire outstanding on your credit card becomes payable from that particular moment. And we are very happy to state with you that we do not charge you anything on the cash withdrawal on the credit card. Certain other important products that I can talk to you about, we have a wonderful working capital program for startups. Of course, it comes with certain amount of criteria. So this current account booster is meant for more of a treasury management kind of a thing for all the small entrepreneurs and, of course, all the big ones too. So any particular amount upwards of 2 lakhs, which is lying in your current account, it gets converted into a fixed deposits. Okay? So it gets converted in the multiples of 1,000 rupees. So as soon as there is some kind of a payment which is begging for attention, so those kind of FDs will get broken in a multiple of 1 rupee. So that saves you a lot of amount of interest. And also the method which we use is a LIFO method. So LIFO is last in, first out, so that there is minimum damage on the potential interest earning on your current account. You don't find this anywhere else. I'm very, very glad to present this to you. There is a lot of wonderful work which is being done for startups, and one of the essential requirements for startups all across the country is, the networking, the founder success program that we run, and we have a huge capacity to facilitate the startups in raising funds for their businesses as well. So going forward, since I mentioned startups to you, I'd quickly like to take you through the startup ecosystem of India today. I mean, to the right of your screen, you can see 98,000 plus startups. I joined IDFC FIRST Bank in September 2022, and when I joined, when I was making presentations as such, the kind of figures that I was talking about was somewhere close on 56 to 58,000. And it's just about a year and month which have passed, and we're also talking about close to 1 lakh of startups which have actually mushroomed. That shows the kind of positivity in terms of the entire environment in terms of building startups and entrepreneurship. I mean, the more we talk about it, the more we imbibe this in early stages, like the college students, the engineering students. This number is not going to stop. It is definitely going to increase. And we are proud owners of 108 unicorns. I think just in 2022, we had 19 unicorns which came into play. And the total valuations of the unicorns in India today is close around $341 billion. We have another 100 soonicorns, which soon to become unicorns, who are waiting to spread their wings, and they have a valuation of almost close to $180 billion. We are the third largest ecosystem in the entire globe. We are just behind US and China. We are talking about having at least 250 unicorns by 2025, and 30 to 40 startups are getting registered in DPIIT every single day. What more can you ask for? I think this is a brilliant form of business which is mushrooming, and it is going to help I need to tell you, there's almost close to 1 million jobs which have been created by the startup business today. 1 million jobs. It is enhancing technology, it is giving solutions to problem in a jiffy, and you name it, you have it. So with that, I come to the state of Madhya Pradesh. This state is growing at around 8%, kind of CAGR. We are talking about $15.4 billion which have been pumped in by the government in the last 5 years in terms of the infrastructure space. We have seen, good connectivity with tier 1 cities. We are talking about 455 trains passing through this state. We are talking about 160,000 kilometers of roadway here. And of course, I personally know some wonderful automobile industries here, some wonderful textile, and I couldn't appreciate much, but the kind of IT segment which is mushrooming in the city of, in the state of Madhya Pradesh is absolutely amazing. So I have had the opportunity of talking to a lot of startups. Bombay, you talk about Mumbai, you talk about all the metros are, having this uncanny knack of impacting your pockets in the negative way. So the kind of OPEXs that they're looking at in tier 2 cities and the kind of talent that is available in states like this, in cities like Indore, in cities like Bhopal, they are making great use of this particular segment. We largely focus on the early stage startup and the growth stage startup. It's not that we don't service the mature stage startups. They are welcome at any given point of time. But what we realized, we had our own survey that we did. There are few aspects of banking, the few aspects of the startups which are going unnoticed in this particular space. And early stage startups, they have they are languishing for want of basic fundamental knowledge, how to get registered in DPIT. That, it's as basic as that. So we thought this is the right space for us to play. We thought, we can make a lot of amount of positive impact, and hence we have created a product suite or, networking programs for this specifically for the early stage and the growth stage startups. I look forward to interact with you. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and you've been a patient audience. Thank you.
It's time for a short break, but our continued coverage of the Leaders of Tomorrow's Springboard here in the beautiful city of Bhopal continues on the other side. So stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the Leaders of Tomorrow's Springboard in the City of Lakes, Bhopal. And we're here on ground to bring you all the highlights.
अमित, जब इंडिया की बात आती है and when it comes to India and personal finance, अक्सर ये कहा जाता है कि India is a nation of savers and we are not a nation of investors. So do you agree with that sentiment, and do you believe that it needs to transform?
So good evening, everyone. It's rightly said by Pooja. Yes, we are a good savers, but we are not a good investor. So since childhood, we are learning that we have to save the things, but only few people knows how to make the good investment of those things. So unless and until we are not doing good investments, probably our wealth will not grow up. So there is a difference between rich and wealthy people. So people may get rich by earning more. They can earn a good amount of money. Say people are having, and even in job also, they are having good packages of 1 crore or so. But they have same kind of expenditures also. So they are not able to save the things. Or even if they are able to save the things, and they are just making the FDs and a traditional type of investments where their money actually not grows. So unless and until you are not a good investor, you will not be a wealthier person. If you want to become a wealthier, you want to have a good wealth at the age of retirement. So that is the only thing that brings a good wealth is the investment, a proper and good investment. Just saving will not serve the purpose. So you need to be a good investor also.
So Amit, I want to talk financial literacy because, the reality is that there's a lot of discomfort when it comes to talking finances. Even when you're surrounded by your close friends or your relatives, people who you can supposedly trust, वो एक बात करने में हिचकिचाहट आ ही जाती है, and that really gets in the way of our financial understanding and our financial planning. So your take on the solution, what's the key to overcoming that? I mean, not everything can be learned from the internet. At some point, one is entitled to some hand-holding.
Agree with you that the people, actually we think that we know everything. That is probably the reason why we are not discussing the things in detail with others people. And there is a big difference between a literate person and a financial literate person. I'm doing practice since 2004 and I interacted with many entrepreneurs and many businessmen, many of our clients also. So I had seen that people, they are very literate. They had done their graduations, even that took their academic education from outside also. But they are not making good financial decisions while doing the business. How many types of loans you people had heard? कितने टाइप के लोन्स आप लोगों ने सुने, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल होम लोन,
ऑटोमोबाइल लोन,
कार लोन,
एजुकेशन
लोन, फ्रिज लोन्स, पर्सनल गोल्ड लोन, बिजनेस लोन्स, यस, होम लोन, personal loan, or if we talk about MSMEs, then some term loans, machinery loans, CC limit, OD limit. So there is a different use for that. So the basic difference in all these loans is the end use of that fund. Why you are using for if you want to purchase a car, so you are taking car loan. Why? To purchase that car. If you are taking home loan, that purchasing home. If you are taking CC limit, then that is for the working capital. If you are taking term loan, then it is for the fixed assets. Right? In the balance sheet, we have two different assets. One is fixed assets, another is current assets. For funding of current assets, we take CC limit. For funding of fixed assets, we take term loans. Right? So what people are doing, they interchangeably use that fund. Out of the, if they are having some free CC limit, उससे वो कभी-कभी मशीनरी खरीद लेते हैं या any other fixed asset they purchase. और sometimes हमने fixed assets का finance तो करा लिया, but we got good bargain, some funds get spared, वो हमने stock में लगा दिया, or in any working capital need. What is happening? This is called basically a diversion of fund. Diversion of fund ये नहीं कि एक कंपनी से दूसरी कंपनी में पैसा लेके गए. Even if you are using the funds within the company, but interchangeably for different products, then also you will be in big trouble, not in a longer period, maybe in next 2-3 years or 4 years. Why so? Because if you are using your CC limit for purchasing a machinery, for example, that machinery is a depreciable asset, but your CC limit will stand for that, for a particular, for example, you had used your 50 lakhs rupees for purchase of machinery, वो 50 lakh रुपए का CC limit will not reduce. But that machinery after 5 years will be obsolete. So probably that asset will be of zero value, but your liability will stand for that period, and even for the whole life. This is what people usually, these are the mistakes that people are doing while taking loan. Loan is not bad if you are using it in a productive way. But if you are using it in a very casual way, probably then you will have some losses.
तो अमित, अगर गलतियों की बात हो ही रही है, राइट, ऐसी कौन सी गलतियां हैं जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स बार बार दोहराते हैं? जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल, अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स देयर इज कंफ्यूजन अराउंड पर्सनल कैश फ्लो versus corporate cash flow, especially if you are an individual proprietor or an MSME, a smaller shop, a two-man operation, a family-owned and operated business. तो उन दोनों के बीच में एक रेखा खींचना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है, लेकिन लोग अक्सर करते नहीं हैं. इस बारे में हमें ज़रा बताएं.
Yes, I agree with you, Pooja. People do like this, and in fact, if in case of emergency, if you are doing like this, it's okay. But you have to reverse that entry also. It is not about reversing the entry, it is about reversing of the fund also. So what we do, we are mixing the funds basically. घर का पैसा यहाँ पे जो अभी again I'll share one more example. A person was having a CC limit of 75 lakhs rupees. Off season आया, contractor थे, ये जो बारिश का season होता है, rainy season. So what he thought कि अभी है ना, he want to have another floor in his house. So he used that fund in this house again that fund is being blocked in that another floor, and when again the season came out, he was not able to bring that fund out again in the business. So we should be very careful that whenever we need a fund for the business, we should have a reserve for that. So we should have a proper planning for all these fundings also.
और अमित एक पर्सनल फाइनेंशियल एडवाइज़र को कितनी बार हम लोग अक्सर शक की नज़रों से देखते हैं कि ये तो हम खुद ही कर लेंगे, इतनी जानकारी तो हमारे पास भी है, right? And it becomes very confusing to determine when you need the help of a professional, right? A professional financial advisor. Sir, how do you guide people who find themselves in that situation?
So I think, Pooja, here we need a financial consultant rather than financial advisor. Right. So again, there is a difference between this term also, financial consultant and financial advisor. So for a smaller thing, you can have your own decisions. That's okay. So first of all, we need to consult which type of product we need for working capital. What is the need of the person? Sometimes people come and say, "Sir, 2 crore रुपए दिलवा दो, 15 दिन में चाहिए." उनसे बोलो यार क्यों चाहिए? सर कैसे भी दिलवा दो, टर्म लोन दिलवा दो, सीसी लिमिट करवा दो, इसको एनहेंस करा दो, पर्सनल लोन दिला दो, बिजनेस लोन दिला दो. वी नीड फंड इन 15 days. दैट्स द पॉइंट. इफ़ वी टेक अ रॉन्ग डिसीजन इन सच हरी, प्रोबेबली उस टाइम तो शायद काम हो जाएगा, बट इन अ लॉन्ग टर्म वी विल बी इन अ कन्फ्यूज स्टेट कि अरे यार अब क्या करें, बिकॉज दैट लाइबिलिटी विल बी लॉन्ग टर्म लाइबिलिटी. एंड वो प्रोजेक्ट जिसके लिए हमने इतना हरी में लिया था, प्रोबेबली वो प्रोजेक्ट 1 साल, 1.5 साल, 18 महीने, 2 साल में ख़त्म हो चुका होगा. बट वी हैड टेकन द लाइबिलिटी फॉर नेक्स्ट 10 years or 15 years. So it was a working capital requirement. What was required was a CC limit basically. In any case, the enhancement of CC limit was required so that जैसे प्रोजेक्ट का पैसा आए वो वापस से CC limit will get 0. So sometimes we are not taking a right decision in choosing the product because वो हमें पता ही नहीं है. अर्लियर हमें सिर्फ 2-3-4 प्रोडक्ट्स के बारे में पता होता था कि एक CC लिमिट होती है, एक टर्म लोन होता है, एक मशीनरी फाइनेंस होता है, एक होम लोन, एक कार लोन. बट नाउ इट इज़ tens of the products are available in the market, and probably sometimes businessmen don't know all these products. Financial consultant knows all these. Like ना, आपको बहुत सारी दवाइयाँ नहीं पता होंगी, पर डॉक्टर को पता है कि अभी कौन कौन सी बीमारियों की नई नई दवाइयाँ आ गई हैं. So for that, I think you have to take some consultancy from the financial consultant.
Well, Amit, that's all that we have time for, but a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Amit Kumar Jain.
Well, that brings the Leaders of Tomorrow's Springboard here in Bhopal to a close. I'm Pooja Jain signing off. Thanks for tuning in.